Welcome to Catholic Views. I'm your host, Renee Kranz. On today's show, we will have Bishop Donald DeGrood in the studio. He is back to talk about the Set Ablaze planning initiative for the diocese. He's going to talk to us about why we're doing the planning, what we hope to get from it. And he's also going to ask again for all of the lay faithful in the diocese to visit the website setablazesf.org to look at the current reality report, to view the maps in their current state. They are not in their final state yet, to give your feedback so we can know if there are some changes that maybe should be made and what your feelings are about it. So I hope you'll stick around for that interview. First, we have Dr. Chris Bergwald with us for Biblical Bites with Dr. B, and he's on Zoom today. Woo!
I am not in studio.
He's not in studio. I didn't say you were, did I? Did I say that? Okay, good.
No, Bishop's going to be in studio.
Yes.
Not in studio.
Yes, we're recording on different days, so yes. What do you got for us, Bergwald?
So, Renee, do you remember? I think you do, actually, what Sunday we're in.
Well, Elise told me it was the 32nd Sunday. I'm not sure I actually remembered. I knew it was the 30-something.
He wasn't lying this time.
Okay, good.
So we have technically, I guess we have 3 more weeks in ordinary time, 3 more weeks in the current church year. This week, the 32nd week, the 33rd week, and then the 34th week in ordinary time before we get to Advent here right after Thanksgiving. So the readings, as we approach the end of the church year, there's a thematic shift. We talk often how there's a connection between the first reading, the Psalm, and the Gospel. Well, there's definitely a shift now in the way that those 3 relate and what they're emphasizing. And this year, we're getting on this Sunday, the first reading is from the 2nd book of Maccabees.
Okay.
So just a little bit about so it's moving towards the idea of the second coming, the idea of persecution and tribulation, that the people of God, the Maccabees, the Old Testament, so the Israelites, the people of the New Covenant, Christians, whether they're Jews or Gentiles, will face throughout history, but especially at the end of time, before Jesus comes again, persecution. Mm-hmm. So the first and second book of Maccabees are telling us about the era of the Maccabean revolt. So this is basically about 170 years before Jesus. Historically, this is a time when the descendants of the Greek conqueror Alexander the Great, Alexander had conquered much of the Mediterranean world, even over into India, and then his descendants, if you will, sort of carved that up. So Greeks are ruling the Holy Land right now, and they're imposing Greek culture and Greek religion on all their peoples, including the Israelites. And some are going along with it, but some, the Maccabeans, are saying, no, this is wrong. This goes against what God has called us to do. And we hear about this in the first reading, which is from the 2nd book of Maccabees. So this reading, it starts this way. It happened that 7 brothers with their mother were arrested and tortured with whips and scourges by the king to force them to eat pork in violation of God's law. One of the brothers, speaking for the others, said, "What do you expect to achieve by questioning us? We are ready to die rather than transgress the laws of our ancestors." And if you read, we don't have time to get into it, but if you go to 2nd Maccabees chapter 7, which is where this comes from, you read about, they were fried to death. Their tongues were cut out. It gets pretty gruesome, but that's what they were willing to do, to stand up for what God had revealed to them. And that's what we're called to do today as well.
That's pretty incredible, and we could follow their example. Thanks, Dr. B.